Okay, let's take a look at the Chapter 10 lecture. We want to finish up some future value calculations from Appendix B. So we'll look at that first, then we'll get into liabilities and bonds, do some example problems, and we'll talk about bond discounts and premiums. One of the more complicated things we'll do all year, but very doable. Then we'll talk about rock and roll and what it has to do with financial funding. So first, let's come back to some of the stuff in Appendix B. We talked about present value. That would be where you bring back all of your future cash flows to the present day so you can make a business decision right now, today. A future value practice problem is different because you take a whole bunch of cash flows and you push them out to some future date and you say, okay, I need all these cash flows to be worth a set value at a future date. Okay, classic example of this would be, suppose you wanted to be a millionaire 25 years from now. Suppose you had to be retired and you need $1 million. How much money do you need to put aside annually if you were going to get 7% interest per year to get to $1 million 25 years from now? Makes sense, right? If you want to retire at 70 or 65 or whatever, and you're 40, you would want to say 25 years, I got to get $1 million. So how much does it take per year? So it's not just a simple number. You don't just divide 1 million by 25 because the money you deposit now, supposing you were 40, would gain interest upon interest upon interest for 25 years. The very last payment at the age of 65, let's say, would bring that value up to $1 million. It wouldn't have any time to accrue interest. So I hope that makes sense, but let's take a look here first. It's all in your setup. Okay, it's just like present value problems where you just say the future value of this annuity, right, is going to be equal to some total amount times some factor. Okay, this principal here is the value that you're depositing annually. The future value of the whole stream of cash flows is the future value of the annuity. And then the factor is just going to be 25 years times and 7% that you get from a table. Okay, so first of all, I need the value to be $1 million. I hope you can see that. So right here is my $1 million. The principal is, oh, I don't know. That's what I'm trying to decide. How much money do I need to set aside every year for 25 years if I can assume 7% interest? So I go to my table. In your book, it's going to be table B4, future value of an annuity. Look in Appendix B. Okay, and then you pull out a number. I go 25 years here. I would go 7%, find the number, 63.249. Okay, and I plug that in, and I'm going to solve for the unknown. That's got to be a million. That's 63.249. I'm looking for X. X is the principal, so I just divide 1 million by 63.249. It equals 15 or 16,000 every year for 25 years. Wow. Who can sock away 16 grand a year for 25 years from the age of 40 to 65? Not very many people. But if you divide that by 12, really, it's not that bad. It's $1,000 a month, a little bit more, maybe $1,200 a month. When you slice up a savings plan, that's what it essentially comes down to, is small chunks every month or every year without fail. And 16 grand here, 15,810, it might look like a lot of money, but if you could set aside, say, $1,200 a month, every month, for the next 25 years, from the age of 40 to 65, you'd have $1 million. It's going to accrue 7% interest every year. The early payments, the age of 40, 41, 42, that's going to make interest for a long time. The very last payment on your 65th birthday would bring the $1 million account to its $1 million value, actually. It would be $15,000 short. And on the very last payment, that payment would bring it up to the $1 million amount. It wouldn't have any time to collect interest. But that's how these future value problems work. Okay, they could also work for how much money you must save monthly for a kid's college fund, right? Kids born today, you need something that's going to accrue for 18 years, and you need it to be worth, well, whatever college costs 18 years down the road. Some say $250,000. That's crazy, but that's what they're saying. Retirement's obviously one, or if you even wanted to do this for a down payment for a house. Suppose you're 25 and you just got your first job. You want to buy a house by the time you're 35. Well, for 10 years, how much money do you need to sack away to come up with 20% down? These are all good calculations or good examples where future value calculations could be very, very helpful. Okay, so I want you guys to see the utility in these skills. I hope that makes sense. There's no future value on the exam. There's a little bit, I think, in your homework, but you should understand the value of these things because it really is a valuable skill if it's used wisely and you can see how to apply it.